Somewhere inside the most powerful religious institution on earth, there is a secret. It has been kept for over 40 years. It involves a 15-year-old girl, a criminal gang, a murdered banker, ancient tombs filled with unidentified bones, and a pope who prayed publicly for her return. Her name was Emanuela Orlandi. She walked out of a music lesson in Rome on the evening of June 22, 1983. She never came home. And what investigators have uncovered in the decades since, buried in Vatican dossiers, criminal confessions, and secret messages between cardinals, is so disturbing, so deeply embedded in the highest levels of power, that 3 separate investigations are still open today. 3. Simultaneously. This is not a conspiracy theory. These are documented facts. Stay with me to understand why this case is so different from any other missing persons case in history. You first need to understand where Emanuela Orlandi lived. Not in Rome, inside Vatican City. Emanuela was the 4th of 5 children. Her father was a lay employee in the papal household. He worked directly for the Pope. The family lived inside the walls of Vatican City itself, one of the most secure and surveilled locations on the planet. She was in her 2nd year of secondary school. She played the flute. She sang in the church choir at Sant'Anna dei Palafrenieri, inside the Vatican. She was, by every account, a completely normal 15-year-old girl who happened to live in the most extraordinary place in the world. On the afternoon of June 22, 1983, the temperature in Rome was brutal, a summer scorcher. She left home around 4 in the afternoon. She took the bus. She walked the last few hundred meters to her music school near Piazza Navona, one of Rome's most beautiful, most crowded public squares. She arrived. She played her flute. She finished her lesson. And somewhere between that music school and the Vatican walls, a distance of barely 2 kilometers, Emanuela Orlandi vanished. She was never seen again. After her lesson ended, Emanuela called her sister from a payphone near the music school. During the call, she mentioned that a man had approached her, offering her promotional work for a cosmetics company. She asked if she should accept. Her family told her to come home. She said she would. She never did. The unknown man was described by 2 police officers nearby as well-dressed, driving a car. Investigators called him simply the Avon Man. They never identified him. Within hours, the Orlandi family reported her missing. Within days, the investigation exploded into something no one was prepared for. Because someone began calling the Vatican. Not the police, the Vatican. An anonymous group claimed they were holding Emanuela. Their demand was not money. Their demand was the release of Mehmet Ali Agca, the man who had attempted to assassinate Pope John Paul II 2 years earlier. The group set a deadline. If Agca was not freed, they would kill her. They sent proof, a package hidden in Rome. Inside, her school identification card, and a note that read, "With much affection, your Emanuela." 3 days before the deadline, they sent another package. This time, an audio recording. A young girl, in distress. The deadline passed. No release. No Emanuela. In September 1983, the callers sent their final message. The Orlandi operation, they said, was closed. Her father issued a statement. He said, "If our dear Emanuela is dead, tell us where to find her, so that on our knees we can pray for her, near her." No one answered. For 20 years, the case went cold. Then in 2005, an anonymous caller phoned an Italian television program. The instruction was simple. Look in the crypt of the Basilica di Sant'Apollinare in Rome. Investigators did. Buried inside that basilica, in a sacred space typically reserved for popes and saints, was the body of Enrico de Pedis, known as Renatino, the boss of Rome's most feared criminal organization, the Banda della Magliana, a mob boss. Buried in a Vatican-adjacent church with the personal approval of a cardinal. What favor was so enormous that the Catholic Church gave a gangster a saint's burial? Then came the testimony. A former gang member stated that he recognized the voice of one of the 1983 anonymous callers as a subordinate of de Pedis. This was corroborated by de Pedis' former girlfriend, Sabrina Minardi, who claimed that Emanuela was kidnapped by the Banda della Magliana on the orders of the disgraced former head of the Vatican Bank as part of a, quote, power game. Minardi claimed she personally held a drugged Emanuela captive in her apartment for several days. She said she was then instructed to drive the girl to a Vatican petrol station and hand her to a man dressed as a priest. A priest, inside Vatican City, taking a kidnapped 15-year-old girl through the gates. The motive, according to investigators, was money. The Vatican Bank had been laundering funds through a Milan bank on behalf of the gang. When that bank collapsed in 1982, the gang wanted their money back, and they took Emanuela to get it. The Vatican eventually paid $244 million to creditors. But Emanuela was never returned. In 2012, investigators opened de Pedis' crypt. Inside, his bones, and hundreds more, unidentified. DNA testing confirmed none belonged to Emanuela. Then in 2019, an anonymous tip led the Vatican to open two ancient tombs in the Teutonic Cemetery, a graveyard inside Vatican City itself, directly beside St. Peter's Basilica. The tombs were said to belong to two princesses buried in the 1800s. When investigators opened them, they were completely empty. The princesses were gone, as if they had never been there. But investigators did find something. Beneath the tombs, two underground cavities, filled with thousands of unidentified human bones, enough to fill 24 bags. 24 bags of unidentified human remains, hidden beneath the Vatican. Emanuela was not among them. But who those bones belonged to, and who removed the princesses, has never been answered. Then came the messages. In January 2023, Emanuela's brother Pietro revealed that he and his lawyer had been shown a screenshot of a private chat between two cardinals close to Pope Francis. Cardinals, discussing documents concerning Emanuela Orlandi, discussing grave workers. In 2014, 31 years after she disappeared, two cardinals texting each other about a missing girl, about graves, and saying nothing publicly. And then came the document that may change everything. In 2017, a journalist obtained secret Vatican files leaked during the Vatican scandal. One document, signed in 1997, appeared to show that the Vatican spent over 483 million lire supporting Emanuela Orlandi between 1983 and 1997, including expenses for her education and medical care. Education and medical care for a girl officially listed as missing. The document suggested she had lived in London under Vatican protection for several years, and that her remains had been returned to the Vatican following her death. If this document is authentic, and it has never been confirmed or denied, then Emanuela Orlandi did not die the night she disappeared. She lived, hidden, protected by the very institution that employed her father. And then she died, and they brought her back and buried her somewhere inside those ancient walls, somewhere no one has found. Today, 3 simultaneous investigations are open: Vatican magistrates, the Rome prosecutor's office, and a bicameral Italian parliamentary commission. Her brother Pietro has spent 40 years fighting. He has never stopped. Emanuela Orlandi would be 58 years old today. Somewhere, in a document, in a grave, behind a wall, is the answer. The Vatican knows more than it has ever said, and the world is watching. If this case shook you, share it. Pietro Orlandi has spent his entire life making sure the world does not forget his sister. Today, you helped him. Subscribe for a new case every week. And until next time, lock your doors.